from Kyrgyzstan. The first of which is from Dr. Tchoroev. Is that right? Please come to the stage and share your remarks. The title of the presentation is Kyrgyzstan at the Center of the Nomad World, Tourism and the World Nomad Games.
Good morning, everybody. This is an honor to participate at the Kyrgyz Mongolian Forum here in Ulaanbaatar. My topic is, as it is shown on the screen, it's very interesting because in this room, a lot of my colleagues might edit the title, and instead of Kyrgyzstan, they might put the name of their own country, because they are also the center of the nomad world. My name is Chorotegin. Chorotegin is the new literature name. In the past, I was Tchoroev. Instead of Tiev, we introduced this Tegin. Chorotegin and other early Middle Age anthroponyms, and now it's using its new stage as the part of the Kyrgyz anthropomorphism. And my topic is about the nomadic culture's heritage, and we need to view not only our current situation in Mongolia and Kyrgyzstan, we need to go deeper, and we can find that we have common roots. For instance, I came here thanks to Hunno air, and Hunno is a part of the ancient Mongolian history, and you can find in Kyrgyzstan that Hunno is also part of the ancient Kyrgyz history. It's our common heritage, and we need to trace our historical heritage from the second and first millennium before Christ, when the nomadic civilization was developed in the vast territories of steppes and mountains of Eurasia, including Inner and Central Asia. And in ancient time, all the peoples developed sport games, including hunting games and warriors games. During the Kurultais, we know some data from the ancient Chinese historical chronicles on the Hundus gatherings, Kurultais, and it was connected with people's games, of course. Entertaining them, they also developed our first beginning of our national heritage. And I must say that this is the common heritage for several Altai-speaking people, not only Tyntchtykbek and Mongolian peoples. some of the ancient games were preserved by the Kyrgyz. For instance, we have Salburun. This is a collective hunting game. This is a still popular game for the Kyrgyz, and now we have celebrations, festivals devoted to Salburun. Yesterday we visited the Kyrgyzstan museum and found very interesting visuals and other illustrations on the collective hunting. This is one of the heritage, not only for the Mongolian people, but for the Kyrgyz as well. And we must say that this development of the nomadic traditions is a common value for several Central and Asian peoples. And here you can find Saymalu Tash. This is a place on the high mountains in Kyrgyzstan, in Tchoroev district. You see the hunter and animals, and below is the Kyrgyz hunter and warrior. This is also a trace of our history. And another stage of our written culture is connected with so-called runic style script. This Orkon Yenisei script. Now we call it just Vitic. In Mongolian we have the word Vichik here. It is also, I suppose, originated from the Vitic. And these two runic style inscriptions in the early Middle Ages preserved not only in Mongolia, but also in South Siberia, Altai, and in Kyrgyzstan and Xinjiang and other parts of Central Asia. And here they have data which illuminates some events related to the feast in honor of the deceased Turkic Khagans and warriors. For instance, still in memory of Chorotegin, Saidam. Yesterday we visited it. Also we found that the buste of Chorotegin is preserved here in the National Museum of Kyrgyzstan. Then also there was a place here, Sujin Davan, where the archaeologists found the Kyrgyz script. The script written by the Kyrgyz warlord. And here, John Arek Vitic inscription from northern Kyrgyzstan's Talas only. This was a vast territory which was connected with Vitic traditions. And I show this about Chorotegin, which we visited yesterday in the museum, and in the text devoted to Chorotegin, they put Kyrgyz Khaganda Tardush inançı çok geldi. Among those distinguished guests was an ambassador from the Kyrgyz Khaganate, from the Yenisei part of Siberia. I put here the source, and Saidam's buste is preserved. That's why I'd like to thank our Mongolian friends for preservation of our common history. And the second stage of development of the popular games was connected with the Karahanid Khaganate. this is known as the first Muslim dynasty among the Turkic people of Tianshan, Temirtau, Central Asia. It included the Kyrgyz territories, nowadays Kyrgyz territories, and Balasagyn was the northern capital of the Muslim Khaganate. And here we have Burana. This is the archaeological site from the medieval Balasagyn city. And during the Kyrgyzstan, we have very interesting heritage, written heritage. For instance, poem written by Jusup, Balasagyn, and the ethnographic dictionary, ethnographic collection, compendium written in Arabic by Mahmud Kashgari Baskani. Here, this is very interesting. He puts the world map inside his book, and the center of the world is not China like in Chinese version. It's not Jerusalem like in Jewish and Christian versions, and not Mecca and Medina in Arabic versions. Here in the middle, this is Temirtau, Tianshan Mountains, Celestial Mountains, Central Asia, and in the middle of the mountains is Issyk-Kul Lake. And he also puts the name of Barskan, nowadays Barskon, and he was originated from Barskan. And why I'm talking about that, this is very rich cartographic and ethnographic collection of data for the 11th century. And here you can find many poems about the Eastern Turks and their neighbors. In this map, first ever we can find Japarka, this is Japan. First mentioning of Japan in the form of Japarka. And of course, in the book, they name also Tatar. Unfortunately, Mahmud Kashgar didn't record the ethnonym of Mongol, but he mentions Tatar. And it was an era when the Karakanid people from different ethnicities, they also developed their heritage related to the people's games. And of course they had some peculiarities. For instance, there were some games where the warriors must fight with each other, even kill each other. And there were some games which was connected with such a prize as the duel. Everything was mentioned in the Divan-ı Lughat Türk compendium of the words of Turkic languages by Mahmud Kashgari. And he also mentioned about the games connected with astragalus. We say Çukur, you say Shaga, Asık in Kazakh, Alchik in nowadays Russian, and he mentions the different parts of this Shaga, astragalus. it's very interesting information for us. And there were also logic games, which also were part of the Karkhanid traditions. For instance, Jusup Balasagyn, in his poem written in Turkic, Karkhanid Turkic, and entitled Kutadık, sacred knowledge or sacred ruling, written in the city of Kashgar in 2017, he mentioned shatranj. This is the chess. It means the peoples of Central Asia played chess in the 11th century. And we need to connect our information about the ancient and medieval traditions of the games with the data from the famous heroic poem Manas of the Kyrgyz nation. This poem is regarded as an outstanding encyclopedic collection, as Chokan Valikhanov and others put. Like Jangar among the Mongol-speaking people, Manas is the outstanding epic poem, and it illuminates all the common life, including their life connected with entertainment and connected with sport games. For instance, the feast to commemorate Kyrgyzstan Khan is very interesting epic story of the medieval Olympic-style nomadic games. The Kyrgyz invited all the historical neighbors, even foes in Central, Inner, and East Asia. And Kanake, the widow of Khan Manas, was also among those who participated in the horse race. It's very interesting. And we have Alaman Baygı. This is common horse riding competition. We have information about archery, national type of wrestling, some logic games in the Epic of Manas. I must say that it is not connected not only with the Kyrgyz, but also with the common heritage of the Central Asian, Siberian, and Inner Asian nomads. And it's very interesting. Some medieval logic games, nomadic logic games, preserved by the Kyrgyz, Kazakh, and other Turkic peoples. For instance, we have such a game as Topuz Korgol, 9 sheep droppings, which was not recorded in the written sources of the previous Karkhanid era, but I assume it is connected with the ancient times of the Hunno era. The game is also called Topuz Kumalak in Kazakh, Topuz Kumalak in the Kyrgyz languages. And we know that several competitions, international competitions on Topuz Kumalak are going on in both Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. And it was included in the program of the World Nomad Games since 2014. And I know some information that some events connected with Topuz Kumalak or Topuz Korgol was organized also in Mongolia in 2023. And another thing is the Astralagus or Shaka games preserved by the modern nomads. They have different types of games. It might be games of Shaka with small children, with teenagers, and also some Shaka games with people who might use it when it's available during winter time, when they are not so busy. They might not only listen to Manasche or to the epic tellers, but also they might play the game of Ordo. Ordo. This is the game of horde. This is very interesting game. This is logic game, and also this is a political game, because in the middle of the game they put the Khan, and they must defeat the Khan. It's very interesting. For some Mongolian and other people, for the Kazakhs, they must have someone from the Genghis Khan dynasty to make the new Khan. But in Kyrgyz way, they don't need any Chingizids. They might elect anybody as Khan. This game is also about that. It's very interesting. And my student published book about Shaka or Astragal's game, and recently she showed this book, presented the book in Paris at UNESCO. And it's very interesting that in 1854, the leaders of two Kyrgyz tribes were involved in the game of Ordo, and at the end it was a pretext to start the war between these two tribes. It's very interesting for the history. And you know, the 20th century was connected with Soviet era in Kyrgyzstan, mostly 78 years. And during that era, we forgot some games, but we preserved several games, national games, even during communism era. And they became part of the seasonal celebrations of herders and other workers, kolkhoz and sovkhoz herders. For instance, we have a very interesting game of Kızkumay, catch up with your bride. And I will not go further about this game because our next scholar from Kyrgyzstan, Azamat Maksudunov, will give more details about the game. And of course, we have Kyrgyz way of wrestling. It's a little bit different from Mongol wrestling. And the very important stage to strengthen the popular sports and other games was implementation of the World Nomad Games in Kyrgyzstan. First time it was organized in 2014, but then like biennial 2016-2018, and it was of course a huge burden for Kyrgyz economy, but still the Kyrgyz were proud that they initiated, launched this game. Then in 2022, Turkey organized it in the town of IISNC, and now Kazakhstan will be organizing the next World Nomad Games in early September this year. Kyrgyzstan would like to host the next 6 World Nomad Games, but it was not decided yet. Maybe Mongolia might be future host of the World Nomad Games. Recently, we visited the World Nomad Culture Festival, and I found for myself that Mongolia is already ready to organize such an event, because Mongolia is organizing it for ethnicities living in the country, and also I need to press upon that Mongolia is participating to the World Nomad Games since 2014, and I would like to stress that this World Nomad Games helped the modern Kyrgyz tourism industry, because there were some places where they organized some camps for the pastures even prior to the World Nomad Games. But after the World Nomad Games, a lot of international tourists are coming to Kyrgyzstan. And it's also connected with revising our infrastructure, tourism infrastructure. I must say, if you would come in early 1990s, when the Soviet Union was just collapsed, yeah, you couldn't find good touristic places in Kyrgyzstan. In nature, we are ready. We have Issyk and other mountainous lakes and pastures, but we didn't have modern touristic technology. You feel what I wanted to, share, what I mean, because I assume Mongolia is also being developed from that old stage to the modern touristic infrastructure. And this World Nomad Games was, for us, very important experience to organize the mass tourism. Now we are trying to attract the tourists not only for summer months, but for the whole year. And of course, there were some very interesting, jokey situations. For instance, in 2007, the tourism ministry in Kyrgyzstan tried to develop the idea that Santa Claus was originated from Kyrgyzstan, because some Norwegian wrote an article about that Santa Claus, in order to reach all the children in the world, he must be in Tyantykbek mountains in Kyrgyzstan. But of course, this is very silly thing, but anyway, they try to attract the tourists, because we have very interesting place for skiing. Of course, it is Tyantykbek, mountains. Anyway, they dropped the idea about Santa Claus, but the skiing resorts preserved being preserved and developed until today. That's it. Of course, this is just a small part of what you might wanted to listen and hear from here, and I am ready for any questions. Thank you. By the way, this is a museum in Hukhoto, in Inner Mongolia. Museum, ethnographic museum. I visited it in 2009. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we have any questions from the audience? I think we've got time for one or two questions. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Can you say a little bit more about today's situation, the link between these games, and family rights, family feasts, our story, and because usually these games was played when there was a family for the birth of a child, or for a wedding, or for us, that is to say, funeral feasts. And nowadays, do these games have still a link with this kind of feasts?
This is a very interesting question, and maybe it's connected not only with the Kyrgyz life, but also with Kazakh and Mongolian life in the villages. Hurea and Ayel in Kyrgyz, Aul in Kazakh. Yeah? This is a very important thing. Even during the Soviets, people in the remote villages preserved their national games thanks to these family celebrations. It might be smaller, of course, but they had horse racing, they had games with, we say kokboru, in Kazakh kokpar, in Afghan they might say in Tajik Afghani version, the game with body of animal, like hockey, but it preserved this game, Kokbor, and there are other games also. And now it's also a part of the family celebrations in remote villages, and it depends on the people. For instance, some new rich people, new rich Kyrgyz, we say новые Russian, новые русские, да, rich, новые Kyrgyz. They have money and they might organize such event like horse racing and kokbori, and they might put as a prize even the fashionable car, and big money. That's why it's also part of their life. But the ordinary people, they also use this as a very important event. They have these astragals games and other games to entertain children. I tried to answer to your questions.